to start the show. The Good Life with DG. It's Spicoli. Welcome to the Good Life.
You are now listening to the Good Life Podcast.
Good Life. Good Life. These boys are crazy.
You are now listening to the Good Life Podcast.
Good Life. What?
Hey, welcome to the Good Life Podcast. David Taylor.
And Spicoli, what's popping?
We got some of the Omaha legends on today. Spicoli, you go ahead and introduce them, man, since you've got a personal relationship with one of them, dude.
Man, it's been my dudes in Noizewave for such a long time. I remember AP and Surreal wanting to rap battle me on the radio back in the day, and I'm like, you guys can't even hang. Don't come on my show and try to rap battle the master. You can't outmaster the rap master on the show. But you guys tried, and I give you props for trying.
Hey, you definitely destroyed us that day.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having it.
I had to. I mean, I had to. It felt like since I was an Omaha kid and you guys are from Council Bluffs, I kind of had to show you what's up with Omaha. But then, you guys tried. You were coming in hot, and I appreciate that.
So we had Surreal on once before, man. When we were just talking about Surreal DJing, now we got the group on, the Noizewave group on, man. Well, shit, man, let's kick it off, man. Let's talk about Noizewave, how you guys met, how you guys started out. I'm sure tons of people would love to hear about this, man.
Yeah. Well, let me get a drink first. I was going to college and I dropped out of college and was like wanted to be a rapper. And like this is like in the late 90s. And I came back home and recorded a demo. And then we pressed up like 300 copies. This is when people would do their demos on cassettes or CDs. And we did a 4-song demo called Red Tape Bet. It was kind of had a barcode on it, so we could sell it at Homer's. Homer's was still is. There's one in Omaha, but there was when people go to record stores and buy tapes and CDs and stuff, we stocked them. They sold. We made another one. It sold, and then we just kept going. I remember our first two were tapes, and then our third one was a CD. And then that started to get some traction regionally, so we started hopping on tours. And this would have been the time we were playing like Ranch Bowl and Soulco Underground, and a lot of Des Moines, Lincoln. It started taking off, Kansas, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and it started gaining traction. And then the fourth release, we did the controversial "Say Hi to Jimmy," and that got us a little bit of trouble, but it actually helped spread the name. And then the next year, 2001, we did Lunchbox Benny, which got the radio play, and it just kind of took off again. Like every year or two, we just put out a project, and it would give us a little bit more push. And a lot of the local videos, because this is before there was internet, but it wasn't as much streaming and stuff as it is now. So like cable access and college radio and a lot of those venues, those outlets were really helpful with pushing content.
You guys were masters at promoting. How did you learn how to do all that?
Well, let me get a drink first.
It started with just like like the old flyers that like the Grateful Dead, colorful, weird flyers. Like we seen that, so we would create these flyers and hand them out, but nobody wanted to grab a flyer. You had to be a good sales rep to just get them to even take a flyer. So over the years, we just met so many people, and Surreal and I, we get along with pretty much 99% of everyone. So it's just like that's what we do. We walk into a place, we can get along with people. They take a flyer, and that's how you promote. You got to kind of just get along with everyone.
We would go everywhere too. Like, so the movie theaters, if there was a new like Star Wars movie or something, like the premiere night when the parking lots are full, we would put flyers in the windshield wipers in all the Rock Fest and West Fair shows, the riots and all those. We just go everywhere and hand everybody business cards and flyers and CD samplers and just whatever we could. Even sometimes we do that. One time we did those we had Put It in a Trunk was a single, and we had a paddle, a jack and ball, and we sent them all the radio DJs and stuff, and it had the website on it, the name of the single and stuff. It just like whatever, I guess, gimmicky or tie-in. It was kind of like, well, I had read a story that Connor Oberst had sent like a box of Valentines to a record label. and that's how Commander. No, was it Commander? One of his it might have been Bright Eyes, but one of his bands got signed off that because he sent a box of Valentines to the record label. I was like, oh man, we got to send a bunch of junk. When Jimmy Hooligan, when we put out the Fly Swatter single too, we sent the Fly Swatters that said Jimmy Hooligan and all that on it too. I think we like making the little gimmicks more than the music. Maybe I don't know.
That's crazy to bring that up, man. Talking about like people nowadays, like it's such a grind to promote. It's such a grind, like clicking that left mouse button, man. Dude, I remember back in the day, dude, doing hip hop, man, and fuck, dude. Yeah, you had to be out handing out flyers and at the bar like every night. Just hey, man, I got this show coming up. And if you didn't do that, man, it was hard to get the word out, man. It really was.
So you're right. And another thing is I worked at the Ranch Bowl for a while, so I had like access to the printer. So remember the big fluorescent when everybody would do, now it's kind of full color posters if you go to the waiting room or other venues. But before it was like black and white printing on fluorescent, like pink and yellow, like the 11 by 17s. So we would go to the party houses around town where people would be doing smoking bong rips and hang and like, because everybody had those black light poster rooms back in the day when they smoked weed. So we would hang our show posters up. So when like all these stoner kids were like in their room smoking, they'd look at that and be like, oh yeah, come out Kings at Noizewave are coming or something. It's just like anywhere we could get the logo and the flyers in front of people.
Yeah, you guys have been doing
I'll get a drink, don't worry.
Oh, he's getting drinking again. There he goes.
Just
man, he's sucking it down
on this one. This was gonna be some video release because we were like, what the fuck was he drinking?
What is that? He's going from this to that, man. He's got a whole bar. Like, are you at the bar already? It's early.
No, I'm just in the kitchen. I go to the bar later.
You're pre-gaming now, getting warmed up before you go to the bar later. Okay, gotcha. Well, the thing about Noizewave, like, yeah, you guys, I feel like your work ethic and the way you promote it and how you got radio play and your live shows, though, I mean, like AP always says, it gets rowdy. What is it about for those who are hearing this for the first time and have never seen Noizewave? And I know you got a couple shows coming up. What can we expect?
Yeah, rowdiness. We like to keep like that, like whatever the intro is, where it's a movie sample or a smoke machine or whatever. Bam, high energy. Bring it way up. Bring it down for 1 second and bring it up. We don't like to talk a lot in between songs. It's just kind of go, 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 go. That's kind of like what we do. In the past we built like cardboard birthday cakes and had ladies pop out, or we had we made that giant bong that actually smoked. And just whether sometimes it depends on the size of the stage. Sometimes there's big props. Sometimes it's more like we dress like firefighters at one of the at one of the Riverfest things or something. I don't remember. Sometimes the bad thing is sometimes my memory is cloudy. I don't know why.
I got one guess. Take a drink and tell us why.
I need a drink.
He's drinking ketchup now. Yeah, you guys like to get down into the crowd and interact and mingle. Why do you do that?
Well, I think we like people. I think it some of the songs are about partying and some of the songs are kind of like a social message, but we like people. We like people from different walks of life, different wherever they're from, whatever they're representing, just to be having a good time. In the music and the lyrics and the beats and stuff are loud and aggressive and rowdy, but we're just having a good time. We want other people to have a good time. It's not really about us being like goofy and stuff. That comes with it, but it's more about everybody having a good time and being like, hey, those guys, that was fun. Let's do that again sometime.
Back in the day, like, I'd see shows at the Cog Factory and like some punk bands or one of my favorite bands, Overcome, they would always play on the floor. And it just was fun because everybody was just moshing right into the guitar player. He'd be messing up. It didn't matter, knocking drums over. It was just so intense that when we jump in the crowd, that's kind of what we're doing. We're getting them involved into our show. Everybody's part of it. We have crowd hype. We hype them. They hype us back. They sing the lyrics. They mosh with us. It's getting everyone involved just to have a big party.
That's a good answer too, because our influences are from hardcore bands like like Hatebreed or Overcome or Will Haven or Deftones to like old school hip hop, Run DMC, Two Live Crew. I mean, just all over the board. So when we started out, we kind of wanted to be like Gigi Allen and Bad Brains meets like who is like Ice-T and Ice Cube, like just mix all the influences together.
Yeah, it's a very interactive show. The songs are super catchy. People sing them back to you. That's just what Noizewave is for. Like, you guys definitely bring the party. You know, some stuff is about to go down. It always gets a little wild. And I think people love that because, you know, they need an escape. And sometimes, you know, real life sucks. And when you can go to a Noizewave show, things just get a little bit better.
We'll be back after a quick break.
Up in the castle, evil mischief stirs.
Plan number 42. I shall turn myself into a cat and get adopted by the butcher's daughter so I can learn all her secrets. Then, I will use them to make her fall in love with me. What do you think, Wilson?
Hey, check out 1v1 Me DM on all podcast platforms to see more of Dracula's perfect plans at finding true love.
Yeah, then you hit the nail on the head. An escape, just, you know, take everybody out of their element. And music's universally healing. People like different genres. Some people like, you know, like even like the thing this week with Andre 3000 and the Flute album, you know, with no words, no lyrics. You know, some people really like it. Some people not so much, but it's entertaining. It's giving us something to talk about. It's pushing art, and I'm all for that, you know.
Oh yeah, I say I don't know if I don't think I know this now. Are you guys making new music right now, or are you guys doing new shows? I don't. Which way are you guys going right now?
What are we doing here? Let me get a drink and think about that.
Surreal's been recording a lot of features lately, and I have a couple I'm writing right now. But as far as Noizewave, we really haven't sat down to write, but we have talked about it. I mean, if people want it, we can deliver. We always love art. We always love music. We're always going to do it and create it somehow.
Sometimes at like 3 a.m, Rowdy will send me a chorus idea. I got this chorus idea. You got to hear.
And then, is it good or does it suck?
It's always good. My choruses are fire.
You're ridiculous. But let me ask you this. All right, for real. Do you guys even need to put out any more music? I mean, you have what you have, and it's good, and people like it. Do we need anything new?
That's a good question. I mean, I still record a lot of solo stuff and a lot of features and stuff. So if we did do another group song, honestly, we don't even have a Facebook for Noizewave right now. The last 2 times I did one, we had stalkers both times, so I took them down. And I mean, we're on Spotify and YouTube Music and stuff, but to answer your question, I don't know if it organically, naturally happened. We're brothers,
right?
So in real life, so we see each other a lot. So I think if an idea formed and it made sense and it sounded good and it was catchy, then yes, we do probably. And the way things work now too, it's kind of a singles game now again. It's not like when, you know, you don't check the Best Buy ad for when a CD is going to come out for the whole album. It's kind of like the streaming. It's a singles game again.
Yeah, you don't have to put out like 11 or 12 songs and just be like, "Fuck, man, everyone's got to be hard." You just put out like your one at a time now. Yeah,
yeah. There's definitely pros and cons. I love it. I also kind of like to have the physical. They say like a lot of vinyls out selling CDs, but a lot of kids use them as posters. They hang the records on their wall because they listen to the bands on a streaming service.
I miss like having to go to Homer's or whatever and buy a CD and then just go through the whole CD and be like, fuck, I found a song that nobody knows about yet. Like that was cool as shit back then. Now it's like, it's pros and cons. Now it's like they just release their best one and then they just keep releasing, you know what I mean? Like every one, you're like, well, fuck, man.
You know what I've always thought though about Noizewave? I've always thought that you would get one song on like a movie or a video game. I'm still waiting for it to happen. That's how I want you guys to come up with like a new song, but it's got to be on a movie or a video game, like something that's just like where somebody is robbing somebody and all of a sudden they turn on the radio and it's some just foul mouth Noizewave type shit.
That would be fun. That would be cool to get the publishing going too. That would be fun. You know, we've sent a few songs over the years to for submission for movies. I actually made a Shrek song kind of for my kids, but then I sent it to DreamWorks for the Shrek 2 soundtrack, I think. And they ended up, most of the Shrek movies use like catalog albums, Smash Mouth, and like older rock songs. So it wasn't really what they were looking for, but that is a good idea. It would be fun.
You know who I think they would link up really good with, man, is Swayco.
Yeah.
I think Swayco and Noizewave would
I'm
make
down
a
with
fucking
that.
banger together.
I'm down with
That's
that.
my thing.
That would be a lot of
I'll
fun.
tell you,
I
that's
think
fucking-
you guys both have that same energy. He's just interactive. He's got the catchy songs. He loves to just like feel the crowd, and I know you guys like to feel the crowd too. Like it gives you a little bit more fire, I think.
Yeah, they almost have the same answer on the crowd thing, man, because his big thing is identical. It's saying, there's that invisible wall between the crowd and the guys on stage. And his point of every show is to break down that wall.
Yeah, I think
man.
Swayco watched some old Noizewave YouTube videos, and he's like, "Oh, that's a good idea. I'm about to rip that off. Nobody would ever know."
Man, I DJ'd last night in Sioux City at Whiskey Dick's in this. I don't know if they recycle the bottles there, but there's no trash cans anywhere. So by the end of the night, there's hundreds and hundreds of Coors Light and Bud Light and just beer bottles everywhere. And it's like I was like, should I? Like I'm up on stage DJing, mixing and stuff, and I wanted to walk around the room and like recycle or something. It was crazy. It was a real fun venue. The guys from the show did an awesome job, but I was like, does anybody take away these empty bottles? They're just piled up everywhere. It's insane.
Yeah, use them to shoot later.
AP, you're doing a podcast too now, aren't you?
We were doing it was a live Facebook feed at the time, but we didn't put anything out like podcast wise, really. We took a break because everybody got super busy with work, and then I'm now setting up a studio to do it like you guys do. Like you gotta kind of have a studio, good mics, headphones, and record it so we can edit it when interviews are boring and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Keep that in.
Hey, case in note. I'm glad there's only 3 of us here. Right, Spicoli and
The podcast is called The Well. I've been working on some new names, and I might be doing some solo podcasting as well because I just want to bitch about the world all day long. I'm just going to turn it on live and bitch for hours. Wah, wah, wah.
What do you got to bitch about? What are you bitching about these days?
Oh, yeah. I can sleep in. I don't have to get up at 3:30 a.m.
Yeah, it's actually 2:50. But yeah, I understand. I understand. AP used to be on my radio show for a couple years. That was a lot of fun. We did some things. We created a lot of fun memories. It was it was a good time. What do you remember most?
Then I got fired.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh, he got fired.
Hey. No, but the only thing I ever remember, the thing that I'll never forget is when you called that dude Dolphin. And I about wet my pants in the studio because he's like, my name's Eric. And it goes like, what? Hi, Dolphin. I'm like, what? His name's Eric or something. Dolphin, how did you get Dolphin out of it? I fell off my seat, broke like the microphone. I was peeing myself so hard. It's like fucking 6:30 in the morning. I'll never forget that moment.
Right. I had to go over and resuscitate AP. I had to get him up off the ground, bring him back to life. I'm like, come on, Rowdy, get up, dude. Come on. His name is Dolphin. I would say the one thing about AP and I, like, we literally had the dumbest stuff to bitch about, argue about, and he would take one side, I would take the other side. Call us now. Whose side are you on? It was either you were one side, you were either Team AP or Team Spicoli. There was no in between.
It worked. The listeners liked it though, because people would they'd really go one side or the other.
I loved it, man. I thought you guys did great together, honestly. That was a fantastic duo.
Yeah, we probably still be. Hey, look, I'm not going to say this, but I'm going to say this. AP and I would still probably be together if he could just wake the fuck up.
Yeah, morning is this hard, man. Ugh.
Dude, Noizewave, man, like straight up, I'll tell you one of my favorite things about you guys, man, is that everybody knows you from like a different like area, man. It's like, so you got the rap heads that are like, oh yeah, they're rappers. And then you got like the rockers from the Ranch Bowl days, like, oh no, man, I mean, dude, so many people have talked about like Noizewave with me, and there's always different stories of what genre you're fucking related to, and I think that's cool as shit, man. That just,
I'm glad you pointed it out because that is true. And now that I work for 1% Productions, so Astro, Admiral, Reverb, Waiting Room, and then I work with Justin and Nice Enough Entertainment. So I'm in all different shows still, different genres, working. Sometimes I'm DJing, sometimes I'm hosting, sometimes I'm doing ticket scanning, sometimes I'm just working the door. But the point is, I see these people, and it's kind of the same thing. Like, do I know them from like when I was booking the Soul Underground? Do I know them from the Ranch World? Do I know them from touring? Do I know them from more like the surreal solo rappy battle stuff? Do I know them from when we used to work for vending companies when we were younger? I don't, it's so, I'm glad you pointed it out, because it is kind of like that. I think in a way it's kind of weird though, because this isn't a complaint because I love it, but sometimes it's hard to just go. You got to find, like, if you just want to go and have a drink with your lady, sometimes you got to kind of avoid certain, because like you'll go somewhere and then there'll just be so many people that that you feel you got to kind of go around and kiss the babies and shake the hands and stuff.
The last time we were hanging out, a couple of weeks ago, I was hanging out with a group of dudes, and I had just met them, and they were talking to me about the podcast and shit. They're like, "Who was that dude?" And I was like, "Oh, that's Surreal from Noizewave," and that's how I think of you. And they're like, "Who, the sound guy?" Then I was like, yeah, he's a Noizewave. Like, isn't that a rap group? And I'm like, yeah, you can still run sound in a rock show though.
But no, you guys really network really, really well. And I feel like you've always given yourself opportunities, and you don't say no too often. Like, you're always down to try new things and put yourself in new situations. And I think that's just, I don't know. There's something about, like, when it comes to like being in the scene, if there's two people that you ought to think about, it's Surreal and AP. And if they're at your show or if they're at your event, that's a good thing, because you guys care, and the scene has meant so much to you for such a long time. Like, how do you think? Do you just love it that much? Like, because you guys are all out.
I do. I have 6 shows this week. So in October, 31 days, I only had 2 nights where I didn't have a show. One of them was my mom's birthday. It's just what we do. I just go do it, and I just love it. Like I think if it stopped being fun, I would go do something else. But it's, for the most part, still fun.
I love art. I love supporting art, and music is my favorite type of art. So I'm always going to be in the scene. I'm always, and I really like to see what some of the young cats are creating.
Yeah.
Because they're brought up different. They think different than us. Our generation's different than theirs or whatever. But I can enjoy it, and I can see what they're creating, and it's beautiful. And I'll always be kind of addicted to that.
So what's Noizewave got coming up for concerts, man?
Well, December 12th, we opened for Ill Bill from La Coca Nostra. If you remember them from the Suburban Noise record label. Ill Bill, we're open for him in Omaha, December 12th, and at Lefties in Des Moines, December 13th.
And then where do people find this information? Like, where are tickets? How do they go about that? Because you said you don't have a Facebook page?
There's a Surreal DMC Facebook. There's not a Noizewave one that's for Noizewave, but I'm on Instagram and Bandcamp and all the things. But there's a Surreal DMC. And also,
tickets to Nice Enough Entertainment.
Yeah, Nice Enough Entertainment.
Hell yeah! Well, hey, it was a pleasure having you guys. Good seeing you. Good catching up. Make sure Thanksgiving everybody is healthy and happy, and pass on the turkey and eat something good. All right.
All right. Blessings, guys. Thank you.
Later.
All right. We'll see you guys soon.